share with you some things tonight that some of which at least, I'm sure you already are going to be aware of. I think the bottom line, and what I want to do, I want to paint a picture for you this evening. And all I want you to be able to see, and I don't mean just with your eyes, I want you to see where we are as a nation tonight. And some of the things that we're going to talk about, perhaps you're already aware of. I know when doing rallies like this, generally we're talking to people that are pretty much already engaged in one way or another, or at least are very much informed as to what's going on. But nonetheless, I still find out that in crowds like this, there's still a huge sense that we really don't grasp the depths of the problems and the issues that we're facing in America today. So what I want to be able to do is to help you see clearly some of the issues that we're dealing with, and perhaps some of these are behind the scenes. Some of these are issues that will let you really see just how much trouble we are in. And let me just kind of sum it up by saying this. If I could put it in one phrase, what we are experiencing in America today, like never before, is an attempt to absolutely, completely silence you and me and anyone with a Judeo-Christian worldview from the public square. And that attack, my friends, is getting severe, it is getting aggressive, it is getting bold, and it is something that will absolutely shock you to death. It certainly has me. I've been, as Aaron mentioned, involved in this whole cultural battle now for about 7 or 8 years. It is one of those things that there was a line that was crossed in my heart, in my life, in what was happening in our culture. And unfortunately, it took place in my life when the whole thing came knocking on our back door. And it literally entered right in the doors of our church family, where the ACLU was breathing down our neck to the extent, and long story, that's just where it started in my life. As Aaron mentioned, there's been several major issues since that time. But to the extent of, I will never forget sitting across a desk from an ACLU attorney in a deposition and being drilled with all kinds of stuff. And so I'm saying to you, what I'm going to be sharing with you tonight are first-hand issues that are happening right now in America. Now, I want to introduce you to some individuals that have been on the radio program with me. I want you, first of all, to meet this fellow right here. His name is David Parker. David is from Lexington, Massachusetts. And the thing I want you to see here about David is that he is in handcuffs. Now, David and his wife, Sonia, from Lexington, Massachusetts, this is a chilling story. One day, David's 5-year-old son, 5-year-old kindergarten son, comes home from the Easterbrook kindergarten with 2 pro-homosexual books in his book bag. David and Sonia are disturbed, obviously, by this, and David goes up to the school to talk to the administrators simply to ask 2 questions. He didn't go up there in an abrasive kind of way. He didn't go up to cause trouble. He just had 2 simple questions. Number one, he said, I, as a parent, really would want to know when this type of material is going to be taught to my kindergartner. And secondly, I would like permission to opt my child out of such discussions. The school refused to grant him either of those requests and basically said to him, when you drop your child off of here, you as a parent have no rights to what happens to your child while they're in our care. As it ends up, David was arrested for inquiring, why is this subject matter being taught to his 5-year-old kindergarten son? He spent the night in jail. It ended up going to the courts, as you can imagine. He lost the case. Children. Let me introduce you to another individual. This is Coach Marcus Borden. Phenomenal guy. He's from New Jersey. He's from the East Brunswick High School. He's been the high school football coach there for over 25 years. Coach Borden is a dedicated believer, strong Christian, and for years he has led a Christian example in the high school and in the community. Well, I'll just sum up what has happened in his life and say this to you. And now catch this, let this sink into you deeply. Friends, this is where we are in America. By federal court order. Federal court order. Coach Marcus Borden is forbidden from even bowing his head or taking a knee while his team on the other side of the room bows and has a student-led prayer before the football game. Under this whole guise of separation of church and state. The school district came after Coach Borden with the help of Americans United for the Separation of Church and State. And the issue there was, and the argument was this. As an individual, Coach Borden, when you enter into the halls of this school, East Brunswick High School, you waive your First Amendment rights, and you no longer have those rights the moment you step foot on this public school. And of course he sued. And as it stands right now, he has lost the case. As it stands right now, Coach Borden is forbidden, not from praying himself. He is forbidden from even bowing his head while his team prays. Forbidden from taking a knee. He has to stand there like a statue while his team participates in that. This next one is a young lady. This is Elaine Hugendon. Elaine Hugendon is a photographer. She owns a small photography business. She and her husband John, they live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. A few years ago, Elaine was contacted on email from a couple of people who wanted to have pictures taken of their same-sex ceremony. Being a Christian business, Elaine very politely responded in an email and said, "Thank you so much for your inquiry. It would not be in our best interest, and really we wouldn't be able to participate in that because it goes against our policies and our beliefs as a Christian business, but I would recommend that you contact so-and-so," which this couple did, and they had their pictures taken of the ceremony. But after the ceremony, this lesbian couple turned around, filed a complaint against Elaine Photography. It went to the New Mexico Human Rights Commission, which did an investigation of this Christian business, found them guilty of discrimination, and again, to make a long story short, as it stands right now, they have lost that case. Of course, all these are appeals and so forth, but just where they stand now, they have lost the case. This small Christian business has been fined nearly $7,000 and all kinds of attorney fees and you name it. Y'all listen carefully what I'm saying to you. Listen to this. Here is a Christian business that is being told your Christian beliefs, even within the realm of your business practices, are not welcome in public. You cannot exercise your Christian principles within your business if those principles in any way influence or have anything to do with the public. Y'all, that is what this case is saying to us. Alarming. Let this sink into you. This next picture is a picture. This is Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City, one of the nation's most renowned hospitals. This young lady that is up here, this is Kathy DiCarlo. Kathy's a nurse there at Mount Sinai Hospital. She's been there a little over 6 years now. 6 years ago, when she took on her position as a nurse at this hospital, she made it very clear that she could not, by her religious convictions, participate in any abortion. That it went thoroughly against her religious convictions and she could not do that. The hospital at that time tried to get her to sign a piece of paper saying that in the case of an emergency that she would she would perform an abortion or assist the doctor in doing so. She refused to sign that. In fact, she turned it around and said, "The only thing I will sign is that I will not be forced